Okay, this is the Underhill Conservation Commission meeting on May 13th, 2024, and I'm starting the meeting. So, welcome everybody. First off, it's good to see everybody. Seems like I've been seeing everybody recently a lot, but that's good. Are there any adjustments to the agenda?
I might like to add new business, maybe toward the end.
Well, what is the new business?
Well, I don't know yet. I'd have to look. I'm sure I'll think of something.
Okay.
New business might include the
Humor
walk next Saturday, just to sort of outline it or something.
Okay, so we shall have, yeah, and we'll add that after the brainstorming crosswalk. Okay. Other additions? No? Okay. All right. And there is no one from the public here. Although I see, isn't there two up there at the top?
Yes, there is.
I don't know how to. Can you expand that, Karen, to do the whole screen?
I suppose I could.
I don't know.
Must just be us and Pat.
Oh,
I think.
Oh, okay.
Or Lori, are you connected?
I'm not. No.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I guess, is anyone from the public here?
I'll click on that little two just because I'm curious. Yeah, there we are, right? That's us. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
You can exit if you like. You can exit,
Yeah. Okay. Then it's have people had a chance to read the April 15th minutes? Reviewed them.
Yes.
Yes.
Looks good to me.
Is there a motion to approve them?
I'll move that we approve the April 15th minutes.
And is there a second?
I second.
Okay. Any discussion about the minutes? I thought they were very good.
Yeah,
Always good.
Very good.
Thank you.
Hearing no discussion, all in favor of approving the minutes of April 15th, please say aye. Aye. Okay, the ayes have it. The minutes are approved. All right, so updates. We had, the first one is Crane Brook Conservation District Service Day with MMU. We had 11 Mount Mansfield students with us, along with Penny and myself, and then a Mount Mansfield physical education teacher was there as well. Wasn't that what he did?
I don't think so. I didn't think so, but is that who he was?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yes, he was there, and they worked very hard.
Yeah.
They picked up so much trash.
Like how many along New Road? Maybe 5 bags or 6 bags?
And tires.
And tires. Yes,
And
they're very
metal.
proud of picking up their tires.
Yes.
And metal.
Yes, they did a wonderful job. And then they raked, well, you saw some of the raking of the trails to clear
the branches off to the side.
Yeah. And it was really quite fun. And Anton from the rec committee said that he asked the kids if they had a good time at Crane Brook, and they said yes, they had a really good time.
Oh boy, another time maybe they'll come back.
Yes, so maybe they'll come back. Maybe they'll come back and enjoy the beauty of it. Some of them were quite struck by it.
I think if I understood one of them correctly, their intention was they signed up to read to kids at the central school, and that fell through.
Oh.
So they weren't intending to be at Crane Brook, and I think it was good they had a nice experience.
Gee.
Yes. Oh, that explains why some of them.
It's always me.
We're not really dressed for work.
Right.
Trail work, but yes, I just
Had the rec committee gone ahead earlier and done the major log cutting?
They did not get the logs that are, I gotta turn the noise off.
So much for taking minutes.
Yeah, they did not get the logs, on the steep trail, the rim trail, as it's coming down towards the Crane Brook Trail. There are still trees across it. And so that needs to be attended to. It's the one that used to come out on the little bridge, and the bridge is now missing.
Yeah, where did it go?
Well, it ended
Down the road.
down the road over by where the beaver dam is.
Yeah, but it looks like it was placed there.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh, I see. what you're
we
saying.
don't know. I have no information, and the only reason I know it's there is I think we were walking and we
Yeah,
saw
Yeah,
it.
that's what we,
Yeah, so
What was that? Was it a bridge or?
remember it's a little cross
Okay.
over the, remember that?
Little footbridge.
Yeah. It
Not
was,
small footbridge.
it's sort of where we did the work on
the knotweed,
the knotweed.
which is coming back, but not voraciously.
Mhm.
And just while we're on Crane Brook, we discovered that during school vacation, there were two young men, school age, camping, up by the picnic table. And went back later, and there was no sign of them, and they had covered their fire spot.
Oh,
So I added to the
regulations.
regulations,
Rules and
positively
regulations.
no camping or.
I saw that on the kiosk.
And the kiosk looks great.
It does.
Oh, yeah.
That
It
was
looks
great.
really good. Yeah.
And I saw you, I went the next day and saw that you had, I think that looks great. I mean, aesthetically, it looks very nice, yeah.
For now, at least.
Oh, kitty, I'm allergic to kitties.
And I want a cat
Great.
to pet, and he won't come to me. That's
You
just the
can
way it
sense
is.
the most
That's
uneasy
what-
people in the room.
Yeah,
And it's very, very beautiful this time of year. So.
which brings up the, Green Up Day.
Green Up
right?
Day. So Green Up Day. Green Up Day was fun. People don't, we don't get crowds of people until after the baseball game for the little kids.
Which was like 12:30 or something like that.
Well, they start showing up around 11.
Oh,
Yeah.
did they?
The food started showing up and people came. Oh, you are nasty.
Oh, I'm sorry, that must really hurt. Let's put some on.
Yeah,
You know what?
leave
It's because your hands were moving right near him. Oh.
Do you have some hand
Sanitizer.
or
Yeah,
wash
excuse me
them?
for a minute. I just have to,
Wash
Inter-
them well.
yeah.
That'd be better than hand sanitizer.
Yeah, go wash it, Karen.
Oh, well, does someone want to talk about Green Up? Then come back and talk about Green Up Day a little bit. Okay, and then I'll talk.
Here's a light bulb while you are going upstairs, limping upstairs with your hand.
Kitty.
No, the cat didn't mean to.
What a surprise.
It's just hard. It's hard to move around the cat. Green Up Day.
So finicky.
All right. Green Up Day was we had a table set up with Don Toby, and his table was quite full of emerald ash borer and invasive information, and it was a hit with the little kids after they came, mostly because I think he had a slice of a tree to count the rings, and all the kids like that. I found that hardly any adults stopped by either of our tables until the kids came, when their parents then were interested and came by the table too. The box worked pretty well because it was a little windy, so the box kept all the papers in it, which was nice. And it was just camaraderie and sort of getting our name out there. And I think what might be nice is if the box goes to future events, which was sort of nice because it means that you've got more room on the table for other things than paper after paper.
And the
Is the-
box was the papers.
The papers were
the flyers
in
it.
in the box, and you can put a flyer out, but you don't have to have the whole stack, and it was windy, so we didn't actually want to put too much out. So I think the box would be good, and I'd like to make a big sign for the box when we get our logo firmed up that says Underhill Conservation Commission, that we can put it on the top of the box.
Yeah.
So we're making some progress on design. That's good. The other thing that I might recommend for putting out 8.5 by 11 or even flyers, Karen and I noticed, I have from Staples, I have a plexiglass, I don't know what you call it, to insert if you were maybe putting a sign at your door and bid it from a classroom, and you would insert, but it's an 8.5 by 11 size. I don't know quite what you call it. If you lay that flat on top of papers, then the papers don't blow away and you can see what's underneath it. So that, I think it might be wise to put that on our list of maybe acquisitions once we do our budget again. Maybe we could do that. Remember, Karen, I was talking about the plastic
Yes.
inserts. Okay.
Yes.
So that's all I have to say there for green up.
Well, a lot of people came for lunch and brought their
More than
trash.
last year, do you think?
I think.
I don't think we were record.
Well, we didn't. Yeah, I don't know. It seemed like some of the same people came and new faces for lunch, and then different kids.
Oh, good.
With their
Different
parents.
kids,
Yeah,
yeah.
really quite different kids. And Toby had some customers. He was very happy to talk about
He's great with little kids.
little
isn't he?
kids, yes. And one of them wanted to, what's it here? Well, I don't have to go into that, but anyway, yeah, it's quite good. So I think Green Up Day was a success. We, I want to post this so people know, but Underhill collected and brought to the town garage 1,500 pounds of trash,
Wow.
plus 20 or so tires and sundry pieces of metal. So that's very good. In addition to that, though, the bags along Route 15 by the swamp,
The swamp.
the
Yeah.
swamp, were picked up separately and weren't included in the measuring.
And what was I think I'll put it on the website page.
Karen,
maybe.
do you know that that's true? Because they went into the truck. They did go into the truck. This must have been the truck was measured, the weight of the truck, the big dump truck that was there
Yes.
and all the bags were in it. The bags from Route 15 were in there.
Do you know that?
I do know that.
Do you mean there was a red truck with bags from Route 15, and I know they went to the town truck, but there was another truck that was going to pick up as well.
Well, when you were gone,
Mhm.
Russ told me that this truck showed up, the Route 15 people showed up, and he just put the bags in with all the other bags.
Yes.
All the green up bags.
Yeah, but that was only some of them.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
The state agreed to come and pick up the rest on Route 15.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
So what was does it make sense to put that in
I think that sounds great.
on the webpage? I missed
Sure.
the amount.
Oh,
Yeah.
1,500 pounds.
Do we know how much it was last year? Any chance? Do you know? I wonder if I can look that up somewhere.
I don't know how much it is offhand. I can look it up, but I didn't.
I wonder if we exceeded.
It seemed like we exceeded it because the truck was so full.
It was full. The bags were falling out of the truck. It was so full.
It was really full.
Super.
Yeah. But whether or not there were 40 tires versus our 20, I don't know. And that would make the difference in the weight, I would suppose. I really don't remember. I do have to look it up. The other thing is that the tires that were down close to where the beavers, the Cranebrook breached the road, have been picked up and taken out.
Nice.
As
That's
well.
nice.
Yes. And that was thanks to Russ and Brad. They went down and did it. So it was good. And as a matter of fact, we had so many people that they ate all the food.
Oh, good.
I mean, every little piece of it was gone,
That's
including
great.
the vegetarian burgers.
Beyond Burgers?
Beyond Burgers. Yes. So.
Oh, that's great. I noticed one of the things I think the town wanted to be very clever about it and make it a big celebration was I brought some chairs, some lawn chairs, and those were filled just like that. People wanting to sit around and chat. It was fun.
Yeah. People hung up after, sort of a barbecue, little family barbecue. Yeah, it was quite nice.
I wonder, I wonder if we could do something like muffins and collect bags or something here at town hall, or there's something about Green Up Day that I feel like we could give a little more energy to.
That's what both Jericho and I think Cambridge have breakfast before Green Up and hand out bags. But that is sort of presuming that the most of the Green Up work would happen on that day,
Right.
instead of people going out early. But that does bring energy to the day, I think.
Yeah. Well, being able to pick up bags ahead of time is really nice because not everybody. I mean, it would be the difference between people not green upping and green upping if they didn't get bags ahead of time. Anyway, maybe we can embellish the barbecue.
I know in the past, it was reported to me that a lot of people, when I say a lot, I don't know, a dozen or more anyway, didn't bother to bring their bags to be collected. They just put them in with their regular stuff.
Oh,
So we're doing better than the numbers would tell us.
right.
Yeah.
I think it would also be really cool if we could figure out some way that people can adopt certain areas, because we could either do it with hard copy or hard copy and online somehow. Because I know before I started doing Route 15, I would never know if somebody had done Poker Hill Road or not. And I go out to do Poker Hill Road and be all done already. So if people reported in where they were picking up, just a mile or their half mile or something, if we can figure out how to do that, that would be lovely.
Yeah. I mean, some people actually called me and emailed me to say, do you know if somebody's done Krug Road or not? I'll do Krug Road if they're not. And I didn't know. But I know some of the communities actually have challenges. So they have a little team on their road versus the other. The Beartown Road versus the Krug Road versus the Range Road versus Poker Hill Road kind of group, and organized that way, sort of in a little. But we haven't.
And it'd be nice to know where a need is, that too.
Yeah,
maybe we can figure out some way to do that. I mean, we can start researching it in 6 months or so. And
might you make a message or a note in the meeting in the minutes to prompt us to think about it at least 3 months ahead of time?
Or 6 months ahead of time, maybe.
3 months.
It takes a long. We have to research software, and I think Williston does it somehow online. So there's some software somewhere, but I don't know if it costs or not. And then there's the issue of what if people want to come down and just mark a road on a map instead. But I think there might be a way if somebody were to attend to it, so one of us could come by every couple days and put it, then translate it to online or something,
It'd be really cool to find out how to do it online. I can envision it. Maybe it's a little dot on a map or a highlight of a road that someone's going to do, but I don't know what tool you would use.
There is software. And it's Montpelier and Williston, but I know they're bigger. And even some of them say it's live. Like you report where you're doing it live and it shows up. And I don't know how you report with some software, some app.
Of course, we have to keep in mind not everybody has that connectivity ability.
Right, so
See,
that's why if we had
yeah.
a hard copy and online and somebody tended to the hard copy. Anyway, something to think about. I think it would maybe excite people.
I
Yeah.
sort of feel like if there were momentum behind it that's a little bit stronger, would be even more success.
Mm.
And we definitely need to clean things up around this work.
I have to say though, I'm sort of disappointed because on Beartown it was totally clean, and within
Sure.
3 days,
No.
people, had trashed it. Truly,
A lot of folks
and
tend to be and driving and drinking. We notice on our bicycles there are a lot of alcohol
Oh,
cans and
especially on Pleasant Valley. Oh my goodness.
and River Road as well.
Yeah, I did Pleasant Valley one time, and my goal was to get up to the Pacifices house. I got maybe an eighth of what I mean. I had huge things, tons and tons of stuff in my green up bags. I used them up to do that, including a whole piece of a car that had had an accident.
oh,
Yeah.
there's no
Yeah.
body parts.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Betsy, in fact, maybe you and Matt could be the reconnaissance people
Okay.
that report
we'll just
in.
Right
Yeah,
all over town.
yeah,
Please ask for nice weather.
yeah, all right.
Okay, we will. Yeah.
Anyway. Well, good. That's
But it was good. You know, at first, the first hour and a half, I'm like, where are people? I know. And the other thing I'm wondering is this. I know my neighbors picked up and used green up bags on Beartown Road. They did not show up.
oh,
So where did they take their?
so that was probably what Patrick suggested.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. I don't.
huh.
So that's kind of interesting. Anyway, all right. So the birding event.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Thank you, Betsy,
You're
for
welcome.
putting that in motion for us.
Yes.
Yeah, isn't she something? I learned so much just listening to Mav share bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Not even, I mean, the birding's exciting and listening. It's kind of sure.
She has great stories, and I think it helps to
Yeah.
cement the information more when she tells the story, you know.
Yeah.
It was really interesting.
Beautiful.
I learned a lot. Didn't learn much about the birds particularly, but all the other things, you know, I couldn't really, I was kind of far back. And so when she was talking up front, I couldn't hear as much as I would have liked to. But the birds part was quite wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the hawks.
And thank you, Lori, for collaborating on the getting the word out, because I was confused at one point.
Sorry. I think it went well.
Oh
yeah.
With the script and everything, like the online piece, and we got a bunch of people, and I felt like it was the right group number. I think we had like 13-ish people,
Yeah.
so it was good.
I was astounded that we had that many people, given that they were having the famous annual bird walk at Mills Riverside at the very same time.
But you
I thought it was
can't
wonderful.
beat having a bird walk at Crane Brook with all that. I don't know. It's very special. You know,
Yeah.
it's different.
Yeah.
Different than a park.
Right.
Yeah, I think. It was, just lovely.
So, thank you notes are going to Mav, and I don't know if I just sent out to the three of you because you were there, the thought of making a contribution toward a donation to the Audubon Center. And I'm happy to do that.
We'll give you some money.
Yeah, it won't matter how much, and we don't have to have that included as Penny suggested, but just that it was a gesture.
Yeah.
So Betsy, I've written a note and it was sitting there waiting to go out, but should I put a little, oh, hi Patrick.
Oh, bye, Patrick. Yeah, he had to jump off at 7.
Should I put a little, I could even type it on the computer, something that, honorarium was given, or to honor her, a donation was given to, or did
Yeah.
you want to do that separately?
No, I was wondering if the Audubon Center might send something out.
Could you, there are a couple of, aren't there, Audubon Vermont? There's an Audubon something and a something Audubon Vermont. And are we I just found that out. I think I'm a little
I thought
confused.
we were talking
Is
about
this
Sherman Hollow.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
this the
center.
Audubon
the
Center
center.
that's in Huntington?
Huntington,
was-
yes,
That's what I imagined, but
me too.
I don't have any
Let me just look at-
loyalty.
So it's called Green Mountain Audubon
Mhm.
Center.
Oh, is it?
Yes. Right. And I think that's a little different than some other Audubons.
I just thought they might be on a bit of a shoestring.
Yeah.
And
Let's see if you were to give money. I'll just check and see if I can figure that out, whether it becomes like, if they'll send something.
Yeah, that,
yeah, I know like the Historical Society does here, as does Middle River.
I can't, I'm so upset. It's gone now. I guess that's what has to happen. Somebody has to scream and then.
well, I didn't, I just put my hand captured.
Yeah.
It doesn't, I wanted it to bleed a little bit more, but okay, I'll watch it.
Yeah, I do, because I guess that can be troublesome.
I went, by the way, I was so inspired by Nab. I went the next morning to Crane Brook to listen to the birds and saw you had gone back and put your signs up. And it was very lovely, and I didn't see any birds. I heard them. I heard a lot, and it was very lovely. And my seeing wasn't so good, but it was a gray day, so it wasn't sunny, and so no birds were flitting around that I could tell. And a big food chain event happened at one point, and I have no idea who won. That was very exciting, very disturbing to the whole area, including me.
Who is it between?
Well, I heard I saw actually 6 crows screaming. The rest of the forest started screaming, and then I heard an owl hoot.
Oh.
So I don't know if the owl was after the crows were after the owl.
Hmm.
I want to say that the Audubon that's in Huntington, Audubon, Vermont, is also the one that when they refer to it as Green Mountain
Mountain
Audubon
Audubon?
Center.
Uh,
So those are one and the same.
I think, let me just look here. I don't think it is.
Yes, it is.
Is it?
It's right there. It says Audubon, Vermont, Green Mountain Audubon Center.
Yes, but Audubon Society is different than
Center.
the center, right? Like I just was checking, so that's a different chapter. And I was just looking at where to donate, how you donate.
Oh, good.
So Green Mountain Audubon Society is not the Green Mountain Audubon Center. Okay. So here, for instance, when you look up the Green Mountain Audubon Center, it's vermont.audubon.org. When you look up Green Mountain Audubon Society, it's greenmountainaudubon.org. So they're 2 different things, which is fine. I just want to be able to say, or I just want to make sure that they'll send it to her. Okay. All righty.
Well, this is we're sending it to the one in Huntington. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This other one.
It's just when I look up donating, it goes to the main Audubon organization. website,
Mhm.
which might be fine, and that might be I just wanted to see if they would send a note or not.
I am happy to call over there, and inquire.
Okay, that's called Audubon, Vermont, as opposed to Green Mountain Audubon Society. And it's, if you wanted to take the phone number, I can check and see if it's right here.
Well, here it says that in 1964, the Green Mountain Audubon Society acquired the Nature Center located in Huntington, Vermont. The 150-acre farm, a generous gift from Christine Hires. Over its years, this legacy has grown to include 255 acres.
Right.
So are you saying that there are two centers in Huntington, or is one and the same?
No, there are two organizations, and it's Green Mountain Audubon Society has a different center. This is Audubon, Vermont. It's in Huntington.
Yes, but the Green Mountain Audubon Society,
They split, is my understanding.
Oh,
Maybe they were the original ones, but they split off.
well, does it matter?
No, it's just which one you're sending it to. I just wanted to see. I was just going to look and see, did they send from the donations a note or not? No, I don't suppose it matters at all. I was just trying to see where donations.
Although Bridget Butler belongs to the Green Mountain
beautiful
Audubon
name
Society.
can't be up on this table.
Wow, that's interesting. It's too bad there were two.
There's also the Bird Museum of Vermont, or the bird.
Oh, do you know that would just be easier, probably?
Let's do that.
That would just be easier.
Their budget may even be.
I think it's even smaller.
So
that's a great idea.
And where is that?
Just up the road
From
the Audubon Center. So it's on Sherman. No.
Well, yeah.
Whatever the road is.
Sherman Hall.
The fellow who used to be the director, this was years ago, of the Audubon Center, started the Bird Museum of Vermont, and he was a carver.
Yes. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Is he still carving?
He's gone.
He's gone.
Left.
Yeah.
I mean, he was sort of ousted from the Audubon Center, and that's why he started the museum. But
they have monthly twice a month bird walks, and they're wonderful.
Yeah.
So does that sound all right to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Sounds wonderful.
So,
do you want a phone number for them, Betsy?
Bird Museum?
Yeah. I've got it right here. If you want.
Sure.
802-434-2167 is Birds of Vermont Museum.
Super. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Right over there.
It's got so many battle scars.
Well, twice.
I know. In a short amount of time.
They probably know. Yeah.
Yes, I'm sure they do.
Yeah. It's a very beautiful cat. I'm sorry.
It's a Maine Coon cat.
Yeah, he's lovely. Yes. Okay. So that's settled. Invasive species. Do you want to do a quick just recap of your conference that you went to?
Oh, it was sure, but it was a composting organization of Vermont, and we were one of the in-person workshops, one of three at a particular time. And the two of us who gave the workshop really wish we could see one of the other workshops, not have to give our workshop. But it was with Miriam Norian, who's the researcher, jumping worm researcher at UVM, and it was good. We had maybe 15 people, and Miriam has pioneered a different approach toward jumping worms. So that was educational. So that's about it.
And then the mapping committee. That's
Yeah. I just got my second, yes.
Your second yes?
Mm.
You're kidding.
Mm-mm. Okay. The mapping committee is coming to a close. I
Yeah.
think by the middle of the summer, we will have Arrowwood Environmental's
Report in
report
hand.
in hand.
Been a very long journey.
And the Conservation Commission will then be more or less taking over the rollout to the public.
Mm.
But before the Natural Resources Inventory Mapping Committee completes their mission, I believe they will be joining Arrowwood in presenting the report to the various committees and commissions.
Oh,
in the
good.
town.
Yes.
The rollout to the public may be later, and I think Jens may help. We may ask Jens to help with that.
Yeah, I think he's had a lot of experience with the different towns that have sort of done what we were doing and how to get the messages out to people and how to
Effectively.
have people could actually attend.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Marketing, it's all about marketing.
quite good. So sign-ups though, were there like 60, how many people signed up? I think it's close.
Well, how many people signed up?
How many people signed and said, I saw a fox in the field?
Oh, 74.
74.
74
Okay.
people.
Yeah.
And that's 74 in my world, which was hard copy. Sandy got a whole nother, like 30
Mm.
beyond that with the online form. Thank you for that, Lori.
Oh, might I post that? Would that be
Yeah, maybe I better get you better statistics.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's quite, citizens reporting. So, but it's exciting. People get excited about it.
I will copy Lori on that too.
Yeah.
I'll copy her.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think it's a good effort. And, okay. And then I think it's going to be exciting. It has been hard to, not hard, but I was surprised that some people didn't want to find out, where the deer yards were or whatever. But I'm pretty
Some
excited.
people don't want anyone else to know where their
Yeah.
differences are.
That's right.
That was more challenging.
But I think that the fact is when you have wildlife in their corridors and their deer yards,
It's not one person's
Yeah.
corridor. It's definitely a community
yeah.
effort.
So, but still, we do have some. Yeah. Let me see. And so this is Underhill Conservation Commission inquiries. We have something about logo and letterhead.
Yeah. So thanks to
Our collaboration.
we have, two final thoughts.
Oh, I think those need to be revised. That's just in reaction to our last meeting. And you'll see the one, page 6, you'll see page 6 on the monitor was bright yellow before. That's the one that was bright yellow, as we have figured out.
Wow.
The challenge, of course, is this isn't going to be printed through a professional printer. So we're printing it out on the printer here at the town office, and printers print differently than what you see on the screen. So, for instance, the one on Betsy's left, your right, the treetop was bright yellow green, and it comes out as darker green because of how the printer works. So Betsy's having to kind of fiddle around with what's acceptable, what her vision is, and how the printer will manage it.
So the thinking is to keep it fairly simple because the important part is what's going to be in the center, in the blank areas. We toyed around with different colors. One very important piece is that we have the awareness now that at the bottom, it gives the address of our town hall and the website, the web address for our Conservation Commission. And then Amanda has agreed, because she's pretty much been our liaison at this point in time, to be the contact so that she can relay information to us as a commission from the outside world.
Right, so the commission just has to decide who will be the person she contacts.
Right.
She won't answer anything, she'll just forward on.
So,
And Betsy, you want to talk to them about our own email address that's coming?
no,
Do you remember that?
I think I can remember that. So we talked to Brad, and it sounds like we can have in June or something, the whole kit and caboodle, all the town commissions and committees will be able to have their own town email address. And that will be information coming to us from him probably.
But also from through Amanda. So Amanda, that'll be Amanda's email box. I think Brad, the town doesn't want us to be going into the town email addresses, so we'll go to Amanda and she will forward anything. Betsy, that was very exciting for Betsy to get that information. At least we have. But one thing that occurred to me, Betsy, there is no phone number for anybody to call, right?
Right.
So we're not giving people the option of calling.
And the suggestion was that we not include a phone number.
So how do people that don't communicate by email or communicate,
It's tricky.
Yeah.
It's tricky, but trying to think about what those instances are, just spinning that out. If you went to the website, you have a computer and you're accessing the website, so you could click on contact the Conservation Commission, which would be in the background is Amanda.
Right.
So you'd be able to type an inquiry there. Where would you ever see a phone number to call that you could not email? Or do people maybe get on the computer but they don't email? Like they wouldn't click a button and type out a note? I could imagine, let's say for instance, with the DRB, I mean, what if we sent out a letter on letterhead like that to say, I don't know what, we know you might be interested in the Conservation Commission, you left us your name or whatever. We would have to type it into the body of the letter. If you want more information, you could call me Betsy at such and such a phone number, or it would be in the south in the.
Well, what about though if somebody comes in
Yes.
and says, I'm new to town and I would like to be on a committee?
Right.
Is Amanda the person that then says, I mean, when they come into town, Brad, in some instances, takes people's names and says, so-and-so, that's how we got one of the people on the DRB.
I think Amanda would have to then type in the information and forward it to someone, or one of us has to leave a phone number with Brad and Amanda that, yes, speak to Betsy Chapek and here's her phone number, something like that.
Yeah, and I mean, it could look like the webpage letterhead communication is my little side committee
Your side
for
gig.
now, but once I left, someone else would have to take it over, and that would be a change of phone number or something like that.
We could make business cards with your name on it and phone number that we could hand out. That's next.
No way.
Well, some of them are very organized.
Well, I think at this point, I'm always sort of, let's keep it as simple as we can.
Mhm.
I feel as though between the web page, the town website, and Amanda's address, that's a lot
Mhm.
of ways to get in touch. People could even pick up a envelope and write something, attention, whatever. So personally, I'm not too worried about the phone number.
And I think Brad or Amanda, having a contact person, whoever it wants to be, could just mentioning that to Brad and Amanda could work too. Or Amanda could just whip off, like she would forward an email to you. She could
Right.
say, Betsy, so-and-so's interested, and here's his contact information.
Right.
Could I see the bottom of just the printing on the bottom? Are they different or more?
They're different visually with the.
A little bit. I didn't get one centered. It was really for colors for Betsy tonight. And then we have to talk about font a little bit.
I can't stand it. It's going to be Underhill, Vermont.gov/Conservation Commission.
That's what we are. That's what we
Great.
currently are. That's our website.
So official.
Yeah, so official.
I think
What?
as far as the phone number goes, I mean, no one has had to call any of us yet, right? And if they do, they could look at our names and see if they know us, personally, right? So I thought, thank you. So I think this is great.
Yeah.
Conservation-mission.
I also think we could make the logo, we could put the logo on email, on a little email signature that has your name and your contact information.
See, this is thanks to Penny, who's got the.
And Canva, Lori and Canva,
Good, I'm glad.
and in free Canva.
Yep.
She's
Great.
got this
Great.
learning curve that's like.
Yeah, recently for sure.
Wonderful.
Wow.
So back to just one last thought. The logo. I tried a bunch of different things that, like how to include animals, amphibians, plants, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And this just seemed like
Simple.
simple. And
I like it.
okay. What about do people wish to have a straight edge corner, or is the rounded edge okay?
Do Betsy and I need to make different options for people to vote on, or are
Right,
people
that's a
okay
very
with what Betsy's direction? I mean, we
I
could
think
do either.
that looks very nice. Yeah.
Is that rounded? Those are rounded corners.
And I
That's
think
nice.
we're
Yeah.
leaning towards a different value in the green tree leaf piece.
Maybe a different color green, you mean?
Well, it's a tricky situation.
It's a tricky, with the printer, it's a tricky situation.
So
Just
I
with-
think we're leaning towards the lighter of the two, just to
Yeah.
sort of give some variable. We've been trying to add more blue to the base. And for starters, maybe this is kind of what we work with.
Yeah.
And we can change over time. It's not that hard when you got Canva. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
But it is the difference of what comes out of the printer versus what you see on your monitor. So right now, for instance, if you selected the one on the right on the monitor, as I said, the leaves are bright yellow. So we actually then have to kind of temper that down. We might have to use a different graphic for the paper that comes out of there and what we have shown on the monitor,
Right.
just so that they coordinate.
The pigment is
Yes.
really a challenge. The rest is kind of, I mean, that's what's given us the biggest.
Right. Yeah.
So I like it. Are we thinking our minutes and agenda will have
Oh.
this? And and what else
Yeah.
will have this,
Yeah, good question.
I was thinking if we have any flyers that aren't foldable flyers, like the education series would be on that. Daphne would choose a frame from whatever,
Oh, great.
and instead we could use that. We could take bits and pieces of it, like the tree, and put it on the signature on an email.
Mhm.
Anything we produce, like if I can make a sign for over the box for the Conservation Commission, we can incorporate that somehow.
And maybe even all the, like, right now, the regulations, it'd be nice to have something official
Mm,
instead of just being a typed, black lettering
mm.
on the Hill Conservation Commission, to have
Mhm.
the logo used for that. So it feels like it's a little bit more than a blank paper with writing.
So Betsy, we'll work on this a little bit more and also maybe look at font. One of the other challenges about Canva, presuming it's always around for free, is it only has certain fonts that are peculiar to Canva. So if ever you drop that, it's not like you could use a TrueType font that Photoshop uses or Word uses or whatever. You kind of have to stick with that then. So we'll talk about that and look at what the implications are of all of that.
Okay. You have those notes in your head a little bit,
Mhm.
or on paper?
Mhm.
Good. Thanks. Do you have thoughts that you would care to share, or?
What, for this? No, I mean, I'm trying to, I think, well, I don't know what Canva's like. I was just thinking about the Microsoft program that I used to do the,
Publisher.
publisher.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is,
So we could do that in Publisher. It has different fonts.
yeah, it does.
And you have to be able to own Publisher too, which I have. We do have a subscription to it.
Yeah.
I think the appeal of things online that are free is that like Google Docs or Canva, then anybody can use them. Which also does sway you in a certain direction.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, because you're talking about, the fonts and the whatever.
Right.
And well, I don't remember having that problem. Oh, I know why.
Yeah, right.
Part of my
Different programs.
different programs.
It's already in control of what
Yeah.
was going on, but it's good.
Yeah. So, no,
Okay.
it looks good.
And then also I can bring in again, maybe Lori and Betsy and I can talk at some point, that there is, and I can't remember the name of it now, but graphic designers put together an identity. And so they usually have 3 colors that you pick your 3 complementary colors or contrasting that you use in all your documentation. They have a format for Facebook and a format for Instagram and that kind of thing. So it can just be used and repeated and then becomes a visual identity. So maybe we can talk about that at some point, the 3 of us. So you can just pop it right in there. Looks professional.
Okay. Good work. Yeah. It's fresh and exciting and it's good. Yes. Okay. So, should we talk? Why did I put the mission statement? Oh, I know why. Because when we had the guests from last week, we they were saying, well, what do you do? Well, if they saw the mission statement, they'd have a better idea. So is there a way?
You could have the mission statement on the website too.
Yeah, we need that. It needs to be on the website.
I did add it.
Oh, good. Okay, good. Yeah.
That's a little piece. I think that a better indication of what we do will be that 5-year plan of, it's like actually what we're doing and what guides us is the mission statement.
Well, that's good if people want to get into it, but if I had a feeling that question was wanting a elevator speech. We do.
Oh,
that.
really?
Yeah. I didn't think that they really. I mean, yes.
What's our mission statement again? Can you log in?
It's on the bottom of your.
Oh, here.
Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't get it on the front page. Well, Amanda printed, so the printers they're all the same. I couldn't get it all on one page. I have to have all the things about.
And it was Jens who suggested that it be not that it be pretty simple and open,
Yeah.
and not a lot of wordy words.
I think that is what I've been focused on.
Oh,
I don't know if you can edit it or if Amanda has to, but.
I'll have to ask Amanda too. Oh, that's complicated information missing.
Missing.
We're missing.
What?
There's just a typo. It says missing statement instead of mission statement.
Oh, I like the missing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Missing members.
Yeah. Very good.
That's cute.
Yeah. Oopsie.
Yeah, well, we have a lot of members, a lot of people that have shown an
Mhm.
interest. And
So
Yeah.
I sent an email out to everyone who was on our list of those interested, and
Mhm.
only heard back from Bob Stone about his son David.
So that I put together, that's either, I guess it wasn't a Google Sheet, it was a Google Doc.
Yeah.
With, for us to record. I'm the owner of that, and it's on, we don't actually have our own Google Drive, do we?
No.
Things that, no, okay.
No.
So that's a little unfortunate that you have some things on yours, I have some things on mine, but, so
Mhm.
people have, I don't know if you're familiar with Google Docs and the like, but if we all have a Google Drive, then if something's shared with you, on the left-hand side are some file information, I guess you would say, and you can click on shared with me, and they just all appear on a list. It could be 20 down if, a lot of people share things with you, so that's unfortunate. But you can always go to that shared with me and find this document and add to it, or you can use the email I sent out and find that email with the link on it and click on the link. So sometimes what I do is when somebody shares something with me, I make a bogus email to myself and put in big letters on the subject line, link to member inquiries. I send it to myself and then I file it. So then I know the link is always there. So you have to kind of keep track of the link, or you have to keep track of shared with me and whatever is shared with you, and it's somewhere in there. So that is a little cumbersome, and that's a bit of an obstacle. But if people could keep updating that, and when you contact people, and Betsy, I can do this for you, is to write in there that you were the one and you contacted people
Okay.
on that day. So I can do that for you so that we all know they were contacted.
And then I'm curious because I was thinking we could also reach out to everybody who went to the birding thing and
Yes.
signed up
I am.
online there because we have their emails.
Clever.
And it's been recent, so we could be like, thanks for coming on Sunday. Like, any interest? Would you forward me the email that you sent out to, like, potential?
Yeah, if I think I can do that.
Yeah. Just so we use the same, like,
Basically,
wording.
yeah, okay.
Great.
I'll do that. Righty.
So it would be good if there are more inquiries, I think, to add that to the list. And the list also says, what date are you adding it?
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to contact them? What's their contact information, and where did you see them, or how did this inquiry come about? So that we don't lose track of those.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll email the birding people that signed up and just kind of say a similar thing of what you said.
And yeah, exactly. And hope to see you for future activities, and including meeting, joining your
Right.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, can we bring up the pop-up idea?
Oh, yeah.
That flash, that is so cool. That's such a cool idea.
Don't you think?
I do think.
A flash wildflower walk on Saturday?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of cool. If we had our logo all set up, Lori could send out a little flash, like a flash this and that for
Yeah.
the Conservation Commission, you
Right.
know? We could have a flash logo or flash.
I know, I was thinking of having some fun with it, posting it on Front Porch Forum. You know, sort of being a little bit lighthearted.
Yeah.
Anyway, so 9 o'clock at Crane Brook, and we may miss some wildflowers, like, you know, the marsh marigolds and things, but it seems worthwhile to give it a shot.
So Betsy, the idea behind this, I'm guessing, is that there's no sign up. There's when it's flash, it's just anybody show up, and you're not disappointed if it's only 2 people because it's flash, or there could be 13 people there if they look at their schedules that morning and say, whoa, well, I don't have anything to do. Maybe I'll just go to this flash walk, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we thinking like we all walk together, or is it more just like we're all out at the Crane Brook at the same time, or is it a guided
Well, excuse me.
or a little of both?
It could be a little of both, I think. I mean, I have some information that I'd love to share, but I hadn't even thought of the idea of people just coming and taking advantage of their own eyes and wisdom.
Great.
So do you want
That's
to,
fun.
do you feel like you would be able to put together a little something?
Yeah. So I could do something like the bird one, the blue bird image. Is that what you mean? Like a little square image?
If you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you want me to send you a
little blurb?
wallflower?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
And then we'll
Is
make
that an Instagram? What are you? Is that
it's
what you post?
Canva, but
Oh,
it's
but
an
on-
Instagram template for Canva.
and so
I
you
guess.
post on Instagram?
Yeah.
I do actually access Instagram
Yeah.
once every time I
Okay.
remember it from time to time. I should try and get on. What is it? Is it just
Underhill Conservation.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's cute. It's like fun because other conservation commissions have them.
Oh,
and
neat.
they'll like our stuff. I think it's like Orleans.
Oh.
Is it Orleans County?
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe the town of Orleans or Orleans County.
Yeah.
Kind of interacts a lot with our stuff.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, it is
Oh,
cute.
great.
It is. So I feel like there's potential there to kind
Oh,
of
good.
get in touch with what other people are doing. So,
Oh, good.
yeah. Yeah. It's been
Ah,
fun.
yeah. Well, it would be wonderful sometime in the future when we get our act together about this, which would mean me getting my act together about it, is to give a little instruction on iNaturalist when you start out one of those walks. I don't know it well enough to be able to condense something to 2 or 3 minutes on iNaturalist, but it's a really easy way to learn it, to be able to take pictures of a flower. And then iNaturalist is important for citizen science, and I think we ought to promote it.
So the flash pop-up then is not going to be traditional advertising.
Oh, yeah.
It will be.
It
So,
will be.
so in
Lori's
yeah,
gonna post
you're gonna post in Front Porch Forum
and on the
Yep.
Instagram.
And
Right, but no
Instagram.
sign-ups or anything.
Right.
Just kind of like
So it was like the
come if you
pop-up
can. Yeah.
pop-up that Craig did like about a year ago or
Mhm.
something, sort of. Okay. Do you post in Facebook or you're not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I could. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless we think that'll draw too many people. I don't know.
Well, I was going to send something, whatever, if you want to make that.
Mhm.
I was going to send it to the Mountain Mamas because that is one way to, that's how we had so
It's
many
a captive
people.
audience.
Mhm.
Yeah, they came to, remember Ethan's tree identification, there were like 55 people there. I was like,
Right. So should you be doing Mountain Mamas? Maybe Mountain Mamas.
well, but they're interested.
Should
So
that be a
here's
Thursday?
another thought with Mountain Mamas. I can't do it this Thursday, but I was thinking of taking us, the Mountain Mamas, on the walk that goes up Wheeler through their property and
That's lovely.
Davis's.
Yeah.
And maybe that would be better to share with Mountain Mamas in particular. I have to be the following Thursday. It might not be coined a wildflower walk, but just a different walk.
Different one, okay.
Does that
Yeah,
sound
no, that sounds really good.
okay?
They did, I guess, go to Crane Brook.
Yeah,
I think they just walked it. There was no, it was not
right.
It was not
No,
it's
educational,
not.
Right, you
yeah.
were
except for the well guy, the guy
Yeah.
who,
So,
you back again?
okay.
okay.
Right. Yeah, I would feel a little bit intimidated by a lot of people showing up.
Yeah.
He's rubbing against my
Keep
leg.
your hands up. You. He says, Lori, Lori.
I've never had a cat that would just, I used to have cats. I know I'm allergic to had cats. Yeah, I like this cat though. Anyway, I'm sorry to,
You
okay.
go somewhere else.
All right, so we could do that. I'll just, Saturday 9.
Don't jump up in my lap. Turn the other cheek.
The other cheek.
So, what's the brainstorming crosswalk?
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, and
Yes. Well, I think it's right there, isn't it?
no.
One of
It's
those.
this. Yeah, really. That's something else I had to think
Yeah.
about. Right there.
is that
Our-
some results from the?
Well, when we had about 30 items.
Oh, right. I
Yes.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe since Lori's
Wow.
typing, I'll just start by
Yeah.
saying that Lori and I went through the entire Appendix B of our town plan, which the Conservation Commission was tasked with dozens of action items.
Yeah.
And so we went through that and we condensed it to the ones we thought, and we've documented this, so if anybody wants to look at it, the ones we thought were the most appropriate by also deleting some that we felt maybe didn't have anything to do with the Conservation Commission and deleting some that we felt were not initiated by the Conservation Commission. So for instance, just off the top of my head, it might be something like citing solar panels in Underhill. And we thought, well, that's not really us. Maybe if the Energy Commission wants to do that, they would then ask us to advise or consult, but it wasn't our initiating that task. So then we also, Lori had done a questionnaire for us on the brainstorming ideas that we'd come up with. So this is a separate thing. The brainstorming ideas, and we rated those. Remember, we had to rate them. So Lori picked the top, I think, 11. We got the largest rating. We took those 11 and we looked at the tasks that the town suggested were ours. And the tasks that the town suggested were ours, if you turn to page 2, you will see the top of page 2 that there were 6 functions, I call them functions, that we were supposed to have, and underneath each one of these were sometimes dozens of strategies that we were supposed to engage with. So what we did was say, let's look at these 11 brainstorming ideas that we had. Do they meet any of the functions that are assigned to us? And we came up with the idea that the lot of them met, turning back to page 1, a lot of them met the function of promotion and outreach. So that was one of 6 functions, promotion and outreach, and you can see in that third column. And then we also had some were met the initiatives and some met the research and data gathering. But for the most part, we were very heavy on promotion and outreach, was basically educating others. We were missing almost completely these other 2 functions on page 2, which are policy and implementation and consultation and coordination. None of the brainstorming ideas we had really addressed any of these. So part of this discussion is to be that, can we think of some brainstorming ideas that we would be comfortable doing under either of these two functions, policy and implementation or consultation and coordination?
And that's then the color.
Well, sorry, these are just two, it's hard to read, sorry, when I want to just cut and paste from something else. So these are the functions right here that the town plan says, and this is policy and implementation, which is this guy here. This one is consultation, and these colors within here, this is the legend for those. This is how I mark them up for me and Lori to review.
Okay.
Wait, so where did these things come from? I
The
mean,
town plan.
this is very divergent from what I think of as a conservation commission. Many of these.
Well,
I'm thinking.
Right.
So-
The whole list was pretty intense.
Yeah.
So we kind of, we took out a lot of the ones where there were partners. So like, as long as, if it was partner with the planning commission, a lot of them also included us. And it was kind of like, okay, that's not our thing, right?
Yeah.
So we took out a lot.
and what's left here, basically for these two functions, is there are some questions. The pink are really, we need to query other partners' priorities. Like, do they want us to be involved in this with them or not? And the green is, we don't really know what the implications of the statements are, but the white we're probably pretty clear about what that means. So developing a town policy regarding the encounter, remediation, control, management, and removal of invasive species. So what this, I think, along with the one below it, talks about is basically developing guidelines for the town road crew. If they end up encountering invasive species in the ditching that they're doing, what should they do? First, do they know what the invasive species are? Then how should they handle it, sort of thing. Like, that's a conservation commission getting involved in policy. Then consultation and coordination, cooperate with private, local, state, and federal groups to address the threat of invasive species. It's another invasive species. And my question would be, our partner is the select board, conferring with them about what is their priority on this. Basically, what is the other group's priority on consultation coordination? So these are functions that we're not addressing, basically.
Oh, I think we have addressed some of those. We're not doing it now because we've taken this track of work plans, but we have talked about roadside cutting, for example.
Right.
And because when do you do it? Do you do it, if you do it too early for mowing, then you're going to miss some invasive, things. But if you do it too late, then other things will happen. I mean, we've talked about that. We talked about some other things with Nate and the spread. Okay, so the road crew does not have any policies at all?
I have no idea. So these would require querying their priorities, and if they don't, it would be the town plan is suggesting that the Conservation Commission should have a role in addressing that.
So that would be the action piece.
That would be the action piece, right?
Yeah.
These statements here come from the town plan. They are applying these to the Conservation Commission.
Can I ask maybe a dumb question? Who is in charge of like writing this part and saying, like who
The
makes
planning commission made all that up.
Made all of these items and kind of assigned them to each committee.
And what was the time frame for that?
Well, the
Just-
town plan is how many years? 5 or 7 years? We have to have a new town plan.
Yes, and they just,
I was looking at 21.
they
Yeah,
finished it in
that was
21.
2021,
Mhm.
right?
I'm surprised though that if these things are in the Conservation Commission on its plate, nobody talked to us.
Well, I don't think they talked to, and there is a
Yeah.
list of hundreds of assignments from this town plan. I doubt they talk to any committees about them,
Mhm.
but probably they leave it to the committees to read what their assignments are and talk to them. I mean, we could take the initiative to go to the planning commission and say, we don't intend to do any of these. These are silly to have in the town plan, or maybe they're aspirational. There's something we should aspire to. And this is Jens was the one who suggested that we go through the town plan and see what was assigned to us, not just what we wanted to do.
Right.
And I think that I, with Lori, marked a number of them. We talked this over to query what people's intentions are. I mean, maybe no other committees are even concerned about these. The select board may say, oh, we don't care about, the management of invasives in our ditches. Or maybe we're concerned about it and we should push it more.
Well, we should be concerned because that's one way that, for example, knotweed has been spreading.
Mm.
Yeah. So
basically, Lori and I, we have more things to do, but we're at a point right now where we have come up with assigning the 11 top. We could talk about the 11 next time or whenever. The 11 top projects. Lori has organized them here that we've come up with, and what town plan functions they address. And then we're missing some town plan functions in this list. And Lori and I came up with just the idea that the 5-year plan should have at least one project from each of the functions assigned to us. We have, 11 projects from one of the functions, and that we might want to have one from the others.
Which would really help us focus and have some clarity on a particular action, right?
Right. Then so I think that's a group discussion to brainstorm on what we might want to do for the 2 functions we're missing. We also have research and data gathering. We're doing that on one, maybe,
Right.
We're hitting one, but we're missing even one on those 2 other functions. So that's a brainstorming we could do. Once that happens, then I was looking at the Tunbridge plan that Jens gave us, and he said they went through each of the projects and they said a frequency. They talked about frequency, green up day event frequency, once a year in the spring for the next 5 years, description, and then potential partners. And that's how they then put it on this list. And I just had Amanda print out one of these, but she printed out many of them. So why don't I just pass these around? This
This
has a
is
good
Tunbridge?
visual. This is Tunbridge for how they organized it. So this is even a later thing that, Lori and I we would all be working on, but so we're plugging away at it. And this helps them. And I think if anyone said, what do you do on the Conservation Commission? This would be a great matrix, and that we could revisit, something like this.
So the green is all about when those things are happening.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe that's the idea. However, for instance, I think, so they're saying the green up event is in May, first one, but they've got it green for 2 months before that for the preparation, and we might need to do some more before that. And I think that coordinates with this other strategic plan where they're listing in a document the frequency, the description, and the potential partners for each of these.
Hi, Kitty.
I think it will be very wonderful to have something like this in our end efforts. To be able to be this clear and organized is so exciting.
Yeah, I think it helps remove some obstacles, of not knowing where to go next, if it's really clear.
Yeah. And to stay current.
But I'm betting that it ends up, looking at their project list, that they just can't fulfill it. Because look at how many things are in January, say, for instance. Do they really have the people to do that?
I wonder how much they come back to this. Like, do you think that this is something they pull out at every meeting and look at the months, or?
I think they probably should, but I bet they
Right.
that they did it once and that's it. And then they got overwhelmed and thought, oh my God, look at all of this. Forget it. But so, for instance, they have one of their maybe 8 items down is work with road crew regarding early roadside mowing and ditching to minimize spread of invasives, develop chart with timeframes for invasive related activities each year. So they shoved that to their 3rd year on their 5-year plan, like they knew they wouldn't have time to do that in the 1st or 2nd year. So that's where we've gotten so far. The next step is talking about what else could we put on the first page of this preliminary plan overview project that could address a couple more functions.
Something from policy and implementation, and then something from consultation and coordination. Now, for consultation and coordination, I was curious, the green ones there, we put them in green just because we would need to collaborate with someone else or figure out what they really expect of the conservation.
Right.
But I'm curious about, when that land was conserved, like Casey's Hill, Tomasi Meadow was conserved through Vermont Land Trust.
Yes.
Who kind of worked with them, and is that supposed to be our role according to the green items there? And I think back to when the ski hill kind of came up for sale, and there was that clamor over oh my gosh, we should do something, and should we be doing something ahead of time for when land becomes available? And is that us at all? Because I feel like it is in the green there.
Yeah.
And I just want to be ready, because that was really exciting and dramatic, and it didn't work out. But I don't know.
I think that's true, but I think we'd have to talk to the select board about are there plans for conserving land? What is the situation with trails right now? Is anybody thinking about it? I don't know who we talk to. Planning commission, select board, we all meet together.
The situation about trails for what? What do you mean?
Like planning trails to connect whatever. I don't know. Is somebody planning to try and connect something? Trails. This was collaborate with local conservation groups to conserve land and manage open land for trails. So is that happening now? I don't know. In our town, or are we collaborating? Or are we thinking about land for trails to connect these trails to that trails? Or is that a non-issue?
I think that was a incendiary issue when the Trails Committee was created.
Is there a Trails Committee currently?
No, it was then absorbed into the Conservation Commission. I was on the Trails Committee. So
there was the effort to try and link the Central School more recently than the Trails Committee, right? The Central School trail, cross-country trails with Crane Brook at some point, which used to be available, but because of landowners is no longer available.
Yes, that's a good way of saying it. Yeah, the connecting spots are landowners don't want folks to be crossing their lands now.
So what about
that was a going concern
an effort at one point that died
3 years ago.
So what about bigger ideas than trails, like acquiring land for conservation, like the swamp or has anybody mapped those out? Or does anybody have a vision for that? And I would think we'd need to talk to the select board about that.
I would say that from my perspective, we need to have a fund for purchasing and then talk about what we might want rather than, I know that we don't have that fund. And when I brought it up to certain select board members, they're obsessed with keeping the tax rate low. And then, so that's an issue. I mean, I think we need to have a fund so that when we have another opportunity that would link, let's say, like Casey's Hill to the sliding hill,
So could the preliminary action be, the preliminary action to actually acquiring land be something like what Richmond has done, where they put a penny in for
And Jericho.
in Jericho, and that is a fund for land acquisition?
Right.
Yeah.
But
So-
I think somebody needs to initiate that conversation.
Yes.
And maybe Karen's saying, oh, it's been initiated time and time again.
Well,
But
it
maybe-
hasn't, I mean, I think it has to follow the, excuse me, finish.
Go ahead.
I think that what has to happen is we have to get a certain number of signatures, put it on the ballot. Shall the town of Underhill have a 1 cent tax for the purpose of establishing a conservation fund for the purchase of property?
Would that be the Conservation Commission that does that? Or would that be the select board in coordination with the Conservation
Yes.
Commission? Or,
Yes,
Probably that.
so we need to open up a dialogue, basically, right?
yes.
And then I think 95% of everything is marketing, of which I am not good at and have absolutely no interest in, but I think that's what's, and now we've got a logo.
Yeah.
So I think the dialogue has to be open, and who is it incumbent on to open that dialogue?
I don't know, but, I mean, I don't know off the top of my head, but it seems like that, as you have mentioned, Karen, has to happen before we go around looking for land.
Yes.
So that might be something that gets plugged into the preliminary. Does it make, making sense?
Right.
Yeah.
I just
So do
think
we add it right here of like, this is how we're gonna address the consultation and coordination? We're gonna have some sort of dialogue with the select board about what they envision our role being, right? Is that
Are-
kind of the thing?
Are you okay that it's the conservation? I mean, are we agreeing the Conservation Commission should be the body to initiate, or could be the body to initiate that dialogue?
I would think it would be the body, but I think we have that dialogue. We have to first get on the schedule, then have the conversation. But I
But
think
it could be something,
Can't we just chit chat on the side?
I
I mean,
have a
like-
side conversation, but then it's
And we need to make it official,
Yeah.
right? I mean, we kind of don't know what to, what to do. Your experience in all this, moving through the various committees and the select board, the rest of us don't. I just have my thumb in my ear, so I would have to just chat with somebody like you or with Sherry or whatever to find out, like, what do we do now, or what's our approach?
so it could look like, and maybe I'm off the track, but it could look like Tunbridge's chart that item 11 or 10 is what we were talking about, and it's plugged in for 2025. And then prior to that, we work toward,
We do our homework.
we do our homework.
Mhm.
And it becomes, an active action. I keep using that word action, but that's a good word to talk about moving forward. So that something's happening. We're not just like all of a sudden saying we have to talk to the select board and what are we gonna say?
And maybe there's a difference either in color or the box maybe has, either the box is highlighted deeper or the color before it is yellow, like maybe we're doing research for the 6 months beforehand, and then when it's green,
Exactly.
that's when we're talking to the select
Preliminary
board. Yeah.
process.
Right.
Well, I think
Right.
if you're doing this, the creation of a fund is, I guess, what it would be called. So you'd have it, this is,
Also, we have
I don't really want to like this,
like
but,
Sabina Ernst was talking to me
Yeah.
about it from Jericho and the efforts that they took,
Okay.
the steps that they took.
okay, so you have to look at this kind of paper differently. So we'd have a header, acquisition of, creating a fund. Step 1 is underneath it, step 2, step 3. So then as you go out with the timeline, you fill in the box.
Okay.
That's how you do
Okay.
a project.
All right. That sounds good.
Basically, it's,
So that maybe each of these projects ends up taking up 5
yes,
lines
yeah.
instead of 1 line.
and then,
Your preliminaries in yellow or your homework's in yellow and then your something's in, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Phases of
yes.
that.
So one of the steps, and let's say that particular one, is talk to the other communities that have a fund.
Yeah.
To find out how it worked, and then we'll move it, so we get that
checked
it-
off.
So
checked
I
off
think
the
that-
information, and then
I think that this document of theirs, which you really can't see, and I'll pass it around, might be more useful to start it out before we then apply it to a matrix more extensive, like Karen is saying. It talks about frequency description, but maybe it just needs a lot more information on it, like the steps. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and then we end up putting it in a matrix, like Karen said. But we have to think about the steps first and what it takes. So do you think do we want to make a decision right now that one of the blank spaces at the bottom of this page 1 has to do with
Creation of a fund.
Right, but could it be, Lori, could it actually fit into one of the consultation coordination and,
Collaborate.
yeah,
Well, because I think the local conservation group, like when I envision that, I envision the Nature Conservancy or Vermont Land Trust.
Oh.
And maybe my brain's going to a wrong spot where I have no idea what they meant by a local conservation group, but I thought they were thinking Vermont Land Trust or
yeah, and I was
Nature
hoping it sort of meant, it could be that, or it could be with our various committees in town. So that's why I had conferred with the select board about priority, but the planning commission did just make this up, really. I think the
Right.
goal of it is to conserve and manage open land,
Mhm.
however, or to conserve and manage open land for trails. So I think that's the goal,
Right.
that's the action item, and however you do it is how you do it.
Okay,
do
yeah.
it.
Is the steps.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So can we say to work toward or collaborate to conserve and manage open land?
Yeah.
Is that what we could call it? Or collaboration?
Okay. And then did we want to add something from policy and implementation as well? I don't know. The only one that we didn't have a partner was the green one. We are solely in charge of ensuring continued compliance with Vermont law with respect to rare, threatened, and endangered species. I don't know, like, what an action item would look like for that, or is it something every year, 1 month a year we research them? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And is that something we should put on that preliminary 5-year plan? We research rare and threatened.
So this includes invasives. This policy and implementation includes invasives, includes rare and threatened species, I guess, are more than just plants, right?
Or threatened species gets us into the leg hole trap.
Oh, geez, I'm crow. I don't think I have the I don't
Energy?
think I can do it. No, I don't think I have the heart to even think about it.
expand the lake hole track.
And then and one of the others has to do with, how about the inventory of existence, about mapped floodplains, about the
Yeah.
issue of mapped floodplains.
And
So I think we could take our pick if we had to pick one.
Well,
Would
the
you
map
wanna-
floodplains, I see that clearly as partnering with the planning commission and
Right,
select board.
right, and those are the partners that
Yeah.
they suggested.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
I think that what Lori and I were just hoping is that we would even just pick one or two if we want to, but even just one. So what do you think would appeal most to work on a policy about invasive species, especially relative to the road crew, or to work on understanding threatened and rare and endangered species, or about floodplain mitigation? What appeals more to our group?
Right. Well, I just think of the immediacy of, with the road crew, if we need to act so that if things are spreading, they won't continue to spread. But I mean, the other things, the flooding is important because of climate
Because of
change.
flooding, I know. It's
So,
all important.
it's all
because of climate
important.
change.
Yeah.
Well, how often, so it says periodically update. How often do they update the all hazards mitigation plan? And does anyone reach out to us about
We know
that?
that we haven't.
Okay.
No, I think we
I
do.
don't know.
No, I think we do.
We do?
I think we. How did I know that? And we actually looked at it.
Okay.
But who was that in the?
So I think that the.
Oh, that was in the mapping, the natural resources mapping.
Oh, was it?
That's how we
Okay.
found out about the mitigation plan.
So I think
And-
the thread to it is a little thinner
Yeah.
to the conservation
that's
commission.
Tunbridge's, right, a penny.
To me, that's a little thinner. Maybe that's even easier, but I think it's a little thinner thread to the conservation commission than to the select board and planning commission, the all
Right.
hazards mitigation plan. I mean, I think
I think from my perspective, we have to go, I think, with the green one, but I'm not sure what that really means for us. Like, how would we find out the laws, right? Are there Vermont laws? And how are we going to ensure continued compliance? And is there a resource for that exists?
that's why it's green. Initiatives that require
Right.
researching the meaning
Right.
and implication.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I
I
think
don't know.
that's a neat one that we could really easily take on without having to have too much, like, I don't know, experience and
Yes.
flood mitigation or something. But like, I just don't know what resources are available for us to do that.
I don't know. That's why it's green.
Well, that would be good to actually talk with maybe Jens on endangered species. I mean, because he's into conservation by
No.
design. And what is that?
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think that we have the bandwidth to work on invasives at the same time as threatened species? It calls threatened species a long-term project, where they thought it would signed a long term, which I guess means ensure continued compliance, and the invasive species guidelines and policies regarding how they should be handled in town a short term. Do we have the bandwidth to do both, or do we pick one or the other?
Well, I was looking at Tunbridge. Didn't Tunbridge, they worked with the road crew regarding early roadside mowing and ditching to minimize the spread of invasives, and they developed a chart with timeframes for invasive related activities each year. And they only did it once. So do we just need to make a little pamphlet of some kind for?
Yeah, and I think educate. I think we have to research to understand what the
Right.
what the situation is, what the implication is, and educate and
I do know that the road crew, that the road foreman, who is now being
Russ.
called, he has a different title, but they are supposed to go to educational things at the state.
Which I think they did
And
recently,
yeah,
right?
they did. Yes, they do.
On
And,
invasives.
but that would be something that we could work with them on.
Right.
That's sort of a no-brainer, really, and it is not going to be, I don't think, I think it is like Tunbridge did. They do it once and then just go back and say, oh, is there a new
Right.
invasive species we have to worry about?
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe, I mean, if they're already getting training from the state, then that sounds like more
Yeah.
information than I would be able to give them. So maybe
Well,
this is not a,
well, we don't.
I think
Yeah,
we
well,
should
we don't-
understand.
Yeah,
what-
we don't know
Right.
what they're getting. The
Right.
only reason I know that is I had a conversation with when Nate was the road foreman about a couple of items for invasives, and I think it was about, I don't know if it was about knotweed, but it might have been about knotweed or something. And he said, well, we just got this training, or it was roadside cutting or something. But
Mhm.
that's where, if we have it, and then it's sort of in a compendium
It's
that
like a one-time and done.
what
It requires research,
research,
it requires education and the like, but then it's got a product
yeah,
at the end of it, as
and
opposed to continued compliance with Vermont law.
and the thing is that when people change positions, I don't know what Russ knows.
Right.
So that would be a good opportunity to work and find, to sort of collaborate and find out
Right.
what the education is.
I'd like
I
to
bet
recommend we put that on the list
Yeah.
of things. I mean, we could do the rare and threatened too, but I would recommend invasives in addition.
Is it something to add invasives to the second line that is develop guidelines for roadside aesthetics and invasive? Oh no,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I think
That's what I meant.
I think it's
Yeah.
they're both relate to one another.
Although I don't know that we want to put it in a box of invasives, because this roadside cutting, for example, is something that we should be collaborating with them on, because that has a huge impact on, let's say, nesting birds. And if they hold off, so the birds hatch and grow up and fledge and become, juveniles, that means that the time for cutting roadside invasives is maybe gone by. So
Well, it's
They're like-
related, right?
yeah,
We have to
it's
research
related.
it and see what, if it's about
Yeah.
roadside cutting, it can involve conservation, can involve invasives, the conflict, the
right,
collaboration.
yeah, but that's why I'm saying not just under invasive, because it might be bigger than that.
Okay, so roadside
Yeah,
cutting.
yeah.
So let's call it roadside cutting then. Roadside cutting
Well,
issues.
Or it could be, that would be one, but then we do have the whole issue of what do they do when they see that they're doing ditch work, and do they recognize that's
Right.
knotweed?
We got to think about it.
Yeah.
Research it.
Yeah. Or the other one is the Phragmites.
Right. And never mind, they're spreading jumping worms and all of that too.
I don't want to think
So
about
would it make sense to add research and education?
Yes.
Yeah, I think roadside cutting involves like everything. We've
Yes.
got to look at research, educate, inform ourselves, make a policy. It's all sort of underneath that roadside cutting.
Yeah.
And then there's the
So-
threatened and endangered species.
So I see that sort of expanding. So we're working with the road crew, is that what? Okay, so then one of the sub-projects is roadside cutting. The next sub-project is then another, whatever.
Isn't it all under roadside cutting? No? I mean, isn't that what they're doing? Roadside, like ditching would
Or
be
let's say
another.
ditching might be
Okay.
another one, so
Yeah.
that's how project
Okay.
management,
Roadside,
yes.
Like
yeah.
road, so
Right.
what's the what do we just call the overall for right now?
Yeah,
What do we call it?
roadside aesthetics.
Yes, roadside aesthetics, yeah.
That's
That's
right
what it
there.
says in there.
Yeah.
And
Roadside aesthetics?
Yeah.
So maybe we should say,
Is that ditching?
I don't know that it's, I mean, it's not really aesthetic, but it could be.
Oh,
I-
roadside issues.
issue
Yeah.
aesthetics,
Or
invasive
conditions.
species, and
Right, roadside
wildlife,
issues.
or something.
Road crew and roadside issues. We're having an issue
Yeah.
with the road crew.
We're not. We're collaborating with them.
That's right.
Yes.
Right.
And we
Okay.
don't, I mean, yeah, they're all good to work with.
That was a joke.
I'm trying to keep my hands above the table.
Yes. Okay.
So I think now
Yeah.
we have a 5-year plan that has all of the items of the
It
town
touches at
plan.
least one
Yes.
of the functions.
Yep, one of
Of
the
the six-
overarching
Yeah.
functions.
6 functions, 7.
I think, maybe,
6 functions.
Penny, do you think our next step is creating something like this?
No, I think,
Okay.
I'm guessing, Lori, our next step is proposing
Oh, is it?
whatever
Karen might have it.
that document. I think that maybe you and I might need to think through this
Mhm.
sort of thing and just kind of come up with that first and then run it by people
Okay.
and think of all that we can on what it would involve.
Yeah.
And then, like Karen said, then we can break it out.
Because I think, when I look at our list,
Yeah.
I don't know, I wonder about like some of the new items, like creating the Junior Conservation Commission.
Right.
Like, that's going to be intensive, and is it worth it? I mean, we're already
Right.
doing so much promotion and outreach. So, I mean, that's just something I think about, because I'm like, I don't know.
Oh, I
Yeah.
want to
You know?
agree with you. And the other piece is that we have to manage ourselves
Right.
Mhm.
as a commission.
That's
Right.
right. And I think we have to concurrently try to do marketing to get people on the commission too. But I think, Karen's right, which she is, about how these spreadsheets go. If
Yeah.
each one of these projects, which they have 30 listed
And
here,
then-
has 5 subcategories, it's impossible, right?
So,
5 to 10 subcategories. I think what we will end up having to do is remove some of these. And I think maybe Lori and I can make some
Right.
suggestions for that. Like, we might not have time to do the Junior Conservation Commission, but it doesn't mean that we couldn't invite some younger people to come to our commission and plug into
Right.
specific projects.
Yeah.
Hey, come on over here. You get over here. Yeah.
He doesn't want to go over there to you
No.
because he knows you're going to be chill and cool about it. But he can come over and stare at us. And I'm not afraid of cats,
Yeah.
but what I'm thinking of is, well, I don't want to get scratched. Like cat scratches or.
I know, they are.
Yeah.
It
I love it.
looks like we're at the adjourn
Yes, we are.
spot, but could I bring up really quickly, just very quickly? I wondered if I would like to propose that we do monthly education. That on the agenda every month is 2 things. One is a conservation small talk of 5 to 10 minutes about a topic that someone wants to present from the Conservation Commission or invites a community member to discuss. And we try and do a hard stop. I could even bring a timer.
A little timer.
5 to 10 minutes, and we plan it ahead of time. And I also would like to recommend that we consider doing conservation bites. And that's just going around the table and just like 1 or 2 minutes. It's you just get, I wanted to talk about, there's going to be a wildflower walk on Saturday at 9. Please, everybody come look at Facebook. And then the next person says, I want to recommend a podcast that I saw. And then somebody says they saw a beautiful plant at Crane Brook. You might want to check it out. So like a conservation bite that involves everyone and a conservation small talk for 5 to 10 minutes. And I would also like people to consider, I don't know if this would work out, whether we could do this at the beginning. Maybe the bites come at the end, I don't know, or in the middle, but the conservation small talk. So if people came to a meeting, that they would get a little education. They might not want to sit through everything, but they would get a little educational presentation. That's my proposal, for what it's worth.
I think it'd be worth trying.
Is that a yes or no? Too much time?
Oh, I'm just thinking, how are we going to, I think that, I mean, it sounds like fun, and it's a better way of communicating what's happening around the state, for sure.
Yeah. Like you might be aware of some sort of workshop that maybe we could attend. And I wondered if on the conservation bites, that might actually even make it into the minutes. Like if somebody recommends a podcast, it can be in the minutes, a link to the podcast or a link to the workshop or something like that. Maybe. Can we give it a try?
Yeah, we can give it a try.
All right.
Are you going to provide next month's
Sure.
conservation small talk?
Yeah, you know what
or-
though? I think I could definitely do that. I think I would better do it as like a jumping worm thing, which is better in July than next month, next month is June. Is there anybody who might want to do like a 5 to 10 minute talk about anything conservation wise?
I don't know what it will be, but I'll do it.
Great, thank you.
That's like 4 weeks from now.
Yeah.
That's like 4 weeks from now.
June 10th.
And the ideal probably would be if you could contact Karen so it could get on the agenda beforehand what the talk was, so that people from the public could see that it's a talk about
Mm-hmm.
your left foot.
Okay, so conservation related something.
Yeah,
And it could be something I've read. I don't have to do.
that could be a little book report on a book that you want to recommend.
I could even read something very profound.
You could.
Yeah.
I might have a timer and say, getting close, 1 minute left.
Well, I think that that would actually for the cooperators, they've brought in people, and the people talk about their favorite books.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that would be
Nice.
kind of neat. We could have even a book, or you could
Yeah.
have something. I mean, we could have something else.
I just had an idea, and it's good, and it will lead us into other things as well down the road, like how we recommend certain places for people to explore, etc., that we all have gone to or know about.
If we want to share. No, I'm kidding. So that leads me to one thing though. One of the things we had on here was a treasure hunt. Is that something that?
Yeah, the conservation scavenger hunt around.
Yeah, the scavenger hunt.
Lori, do you happen to remember, are these in order of interest or not in the points?
I'd say they're generally not, just because some of them got kind of clumped together.
Yeah.
I could look that up really quick.
Yeah.
We rated it fairly high enough to be in the top 11.
But maybe, I mean,
Yeah.
I think the steps for that, we'd have to maybe partner with the rec committee, have to get prizes for the people that find all the pieces of the scavenger,
Right.
Like something, Town of Underhill t-shirt or something.
I think that would be pretty fun.
Yeah.
And I think that would be a short-term project,
very
a
short.
few months of like planning, and then, we run it for, I don't know, a month or something.
Yeah.
And
Well, I thought that one of the goals in doing it would have people become acquainted with the resources that are available for them in the town. Maybe. But the other ones are really exciting. This one is a kind of get to know your town.
yeah.
One of the things that with the Mount Mansfield volunteers was that one of them was very excited about the Crane Brook, but he lives on River Road and he had never even heard of it. And so,
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm just bringing that up. I don't want to digress. So I think I'm quite excited about the monthly education spot or whatever we call it.
Good. Betsy will be a good
Yeah.
first try. We'll see if 10 minutes makes it too long or not. Or if let's say
Okay.
5 to 10.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know it's going to be good.
Great.
Okay.
I have a lot to do.
You do have a lot to do.
So just before we close, any contributions to the Bird Museum that wants to be passed on to me tonight can, and then I'll take care of it from there.
Okay.
And I can send the thank
Yeah.
you note that I already wrote, and you will see if they have something that they could send her.
So you would like,
Well, I think I mentioned in the email casual check, because otherwise, or you can drop it off. Just let me know what you think you'd like.
yeah.
I have a little bit of change.
Do you want me to move to adjourn before we?
Oh, yeah. Why don't we make a motion to adjourn?
I second it. Oh, sorry.
Yes, I first it.
And you second it, all in favor of adjourning? Okay.
Nice.
Aye. Then I'm going to end the recording at
Thank you.
8:34.
Very good meeting.